Well, that could be a problem. Ow, it's hot. Oh, hot, hot, hot. Yeah. Well, we've got another project on the Cub Cadet. If you haven't seen the original video where we fixed the spindles on the mower deck, you can check that out. But let's check out what's broken on it now. So the problem we're having on this is the muffler keeps falling off. When I originally bought it, the other owner said it was barely hanging on. I think he put a sheet metal screw in to hold it. And you can see right in back here is the housing for the muffler. That's where it's get held on to. So there's 4 bolt holes back here where the screw comes in from the back side and into the muffler. And the muffler sits kind of like that. The problem is the muffler is thin metal, and where you screw into right here, it's only got 2 or 3 threads holding the screw in. So when it's shaking around and the heat from the exhaust and all that, it causes the screws to back out. I've already fixed it with the proper screws in there, and I used red Loctite, and it still backed itself out, and it falls into the grass, and just burns the grass really bad, and it's very hot, so you don't want to touch it. So what we're going to do is we've got a new tool that we want to try. So if you watched our last Estate Sale Friday video where we visited a locksmith shop and bought some a group of tools, it's a very good video, and you'll be amazed at what tools we got from the deal. But this was one that I was excited about that I didn't know much about, but I am glad I got it because, especially now, we've got a project to use it on. This is a Marson Threadsetter kit 34501. And this is awesome. And like I said in the previous video, I was watching a Terrell Fixes All video, and he uses this on a Willie Jeep that he was fixing. And I've known about them, and I really didn't have any purpose for buying them. But I found it, saw it at the estate sale, and picked it up. And I'm glad I did, because now I have a good purpose for it to start off with. What this is they've got 2 different things. One's called a poly nut, and the other is called a poly rivet, or a rivet nut. One's bigger than the other. One has a bigger flange. I think that's the difference. This is a smaller for a number 8 screw, and it can hold. It's more flush. It sits more flush to the metal. I think that's really the only difference. One's aluminum, one's steel. Since this is an outdoor project and it's on steel already, we're going to use steel, the steel poly nuts. This is a number 8 32 thread poly nut there. So these have different different dies, I guess, as you would call it, depending on what size poly nut you're using. The one I'm using is number 8. This kind of threads out like this. Just screw it out like that. And then this has a set screw that holds it in. Just loosen that a little bit. And then you can unscrew it like that. So this is the number 8. This is the one we need. So we're going to screw that back up in there. Get it flush. There's a little indent in the screw right there. And then tighten down the lock nut in there. And then each tip, there's a different size, depending on what size you're doing, and they're marked. So this is a number 8 tip. We got a 10, and I think that's a 6 right there. So the 8 goes inside there. And we screw back our, I don't know the official term of it, but this is our set nut. And then how much you thread it depends on the nut itself. So this is the number 8 poly nut that we're going to use, and we're just going to screw it onto the tip. And what we want is the thread of the tool to come up past the poly nut. So I'm just adjusting that more clockwise, and you just want it to protrude. You see how it's protruding just a little bit past? We'll make that tight. Alright, so if that's set like that, then we want to bring our muffler in here. and it's not going to fit. It tells you on the box what size hole you need to drill. So it gives you all the information right here, the reorder number. You got to use a 1/4 inch drill to make the hole size to fit right. So all that information is there, and so everything else is listed. So that's really nice. And there's the unit number for the actual gun itself. And I'll have a link to this tool in the description below if you're interested in getting it yourself. So now we just squeeze and get it real tight. There we go. And then twist it out. And there you go. Now one of the issues we're going to have is, I don't know if you can see, this one is a little bit not flush. We'll have to see how that hits the hole. That's just because the metal wasn't flush. But on this other side, it's perfectly flush right there. So maybe we'll hammer that out and see if we can get that straight. But you can see how it has a nice ring, and it's sandwiching that ring, and then it's riveted on the back side of it, and it's sandwiched the muffler metal, and that's how it's going to hold. And then you've got your threads on the inside. So let's do the last one, and we're ready to go. This is not flat. Let's get a hammer. There you go. Flatten it out, and that flattened up there too, so that would be a lot better there. Alright. Get our rivet nut in there. Give her a little squeeze. So now we're going from, in the muffler, had only, let's say 2 threads at the best, because of the thickness of the metal. Now, I mean, there's got to be at least 10 in there. I can't even really count. So we'll still use red Loctite, but it's got more threads to hold on to, whereas here having only 2 threads because of how thin this metal is should definitely hold a lot better. So let's go put it on. Alright, so we got our muffler. Let's go ahead and we'll set that in place. And we'll go ahead and just put 1 screw in just to hold it. Make it easier while we're getting the others in place. I find the holes here. Yeah, there you go. Alright, that's just going to hold it there. But for the rest of them... Okay, so we will get a little red Loctite on here. Oh, too much. We'll get another one here. We'll put that on. There you go. Alright, and we'll thread it on back here. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see. It's very tight. So we'll get this pretty close. And then we will get all 4 of them in. We'll get them loose. We won't screw them tight until we get all 4 of them in. And then we will tighten it up. So that's mounting in there. If this doesn't hold and it shakes itself out, the bolts shake out, then you just got to put a strap, screw it into the base there and strap it around the muffler and hold it in, because I don't know any other way. It just shakes so bad, and the heat and all that and contraction, expansion and contraction on it, it just causes the bolts to wiggle on out. So we'll see how that red Loctite does. Let's see if it's really as strong as what everybody says it is. But it's in a tough spot there with all that heat. This Threadsetter is a pretty neat tool. I've already got plenty of ideas of how I can use it in future projects, so I'm glad I picked this up. And you should get one too and give it a try. Take out the description below and you'll find a link to this exact product on Amazon. Other than that, let's give it a ride, see how it holds. It might take a couple cuts before we actually see it, if the screws are backing up. But we'll definitely give it a test. Till next time. And if you'd like to see more videos like the one you just saw, you can check here and here. And remember the ABCs of making. Always be creating. Till next time.